Ready? Good day, everyone. Hi, my name is Kimberly Wright. I'm bringing you this class, Word Up. This is a class dedicated to and learning about writing poems and short stories. So let's get started. What we will be concentrating on today is first the reasons why it's good to write. It is very good to write for the soul. Writing improves your cognitive skills. So finding new ways to articulate our thoughts and our ideas and feelings as well helps to boost the brain and open you up to get smarter for poetry. Writing helps heal emotional pain. Grief is one of the most painful emotions we experience, and it's also the source of some of the world's most inspirational poetry. Writing helps to express love and affection. Writing helps lead us to greater awareness, self-awareness. Writing provides a gift of inspiration to educate and educates others. Writing also, usually when we use balloons and cards for a celebration, writing is a good tool for gifts as well, for moments that you experience with your family and friends and loved ones. So today also we're going to learn about some different types of writing. Excuse me. Writing good poetry can be incredibly challenging, and sometimes just trying to understand it can be tiresome. But if you think writing poetry requires a minor in rocket science, think again. All right, different types of poems. Let's write with a black marker so you can probably see that. Different types of poems are as follows: a sonnet. Okay, so it would be helpful if you are wanting to jot down some ideas. You can get you a paper and pen and make sure you are sitting comfortably with a clean area in a well-lit room. All right. Second, one of the other types of poems we're going to talk about is, and this is the one we're actually concentrating on today, so I'm going to write it in all caps, haiku. All right. The first thing you want to do, we're going to come back to those types. The first thing you want to do when you are writing is to brainstorm for ideas. The way you brainstorm for ideas is to actually try a free write. That means to grab a notebook or your computer pad and just start to write, begin to write something. Let your mind wander for a few minutes and see what you can actually come up with. Make a list or mind map of images. Write to a prompt. Look up poem prompts online or come up with your own. An example is what water feels like to you, or how it feels to get bad news. Those are some things that will prompt you to write per se. 2, you want to find a topic. 3, pick a specific theme. 4, choose a poetic form. So today I will put poetic form that I'm encouraging you to start off writing. Right here is the haiku. 5, to help yourself get started, to do to get started? All right. The fifth thing is to read examples of poetry. All right. Moving right along. So, when you are writing, you want to know your goal. You need to know what you are trying to accomplish before you begin any project. Writing a poem is no exception. Before you begin, ask yourself, what do you want your poem to do? Do you want your poem to explore personal experience, protest a social injustice, describe the beauty of nature, or play with language in a certain way? Once you know the goal of your poem, you can conform your writing to that goal. Take each main element in your poem and make it serve the main purpose of the poem. Avoid cliches. Cliches are described as overused literary elements. Cliches work against original communication. People value creative talent. They want to see what your work has to offer. They want to see that your work rises above the norm. When they see a work without cliches, they know the writer has worked his tail off. That's a cliche right there, working your tail off. Doing whatever it takes to be original. When they see a work full to the brim with cliches, they feel that the writer is not showing them anything above the ordinary. An example of some cliches are busy as a bee. We hear that all the time. Tired as a dog. Working my fingers to the bone. Beat red. Blind as a bat. Eats like a horse or eats like a bird. So you need to avoid using these cliches because they are well known and heard very often. Avoid sentimentality. Sentimentality is when your poetry is being too mushy or teary-eyed. Your readers may openly rebel against your effort to invoke emotional responses in them. If that happens, they will stop thinking about the issues you want to raise and will instead spend their energy trying to control their own reflex gag. Use images. Being a painter in words helps you create the senses in your poetry. Poetry should stimulate 6 senses: the sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste, and kinesiology. Kinesiology is motion. Use metaphor and simile. A metaphor is a statement that pretends one thing is really something else. An example is the lead singer is an elusive salamander. A simile is a statement where you say one object is similar to another object. Similes use the words like or as. An example is, he was curious as a caterpillar, or he was curious like a caterpillar. Use concrete words instead of abstract words. Concrete words describe things that people experience with their senses, such as orange, warm, or cat. A person can see orange, feel warm, and hear a cat. Okay, so we have another example of poetry writing is free verse. Free verse is when you are writing your own words, your own story, however you want to write the piece without any punctuation or grammar. Poetry is usually written in verse and not in grammatical sentences. So although punctuation is very key to how the tone of the poetry may rise or fall. 4, we're going to do an elegy. We'll learn about an elegy. An elegy is another type of poem that lacks particular rules, but is usually written in mourning following a death. They can be written for a particular person or treat the subject of loss more generally. So it's really good to write an elegy because a lot of people, when you have a person, a loved one that passes, sometimes people in the family are responsible for doing the heavy job of taking care of the funeral arrangements and writing these type of things for the obituary. So this can really help you. All right, we're gonna learn how to write an epigram. 6, we are going to learn how to write a limerick poem style. An epigrams are short, witty, and often satirical poems that usually take the form of a couplet or quatrain. A limericks are humorous poems that have more distinct rhythm. We'll learn about them more later. Their subject matter is sometimes crude, but always designed to offer laughs. We're going to learn about a ballad. Ballads usually take a narrative form to tell us stories. They are often arranged in quatrains, but the form is loose enough that writers can easily modify it. We will learn about epitaphs. E-P-I-T-A-P-H-S. 9, odes, an ode, and we have free verse. Good job. All right. So today, I want you to, if you don't already have a pen and paper, please jot down some of these tips or research them on your own. A haiku or haiku is a form of Japanese poetry almost similar to a teika, only it is made up of fewer lines. Ideally, a haiku is a poem that uses very few words to talk about a subject and manage to paint a picture in the mind of the reader. We can refer to a haiku as a very small window that provides a view of a very large scene. Let's say that again. We can refer to a haiku as a very small window that provides a view to a very large screen. This form of poetry can be written to highlight a number of things ranging from nature to love. A haiku has a very simple structure. So, I'm encouraging you until next class, which is next week, Wednesday, same time, 10:30 a.m., to write a haiku poem. A haiku poem has only 3 lines. 3 lines. This poem has only 3 lines, so it's really simple as it pertains to the volume that you have to write. It has a total of 17 syllables. If you don't know what syllables is basically sounds. 17 syllables. Like my name is Kimberly, so my name, Kimberly, my first name, Kimberly, has 3 syllables. Kimberly. All right. The first and last lines, first and last, which is the third, first and last lines consist of 12 syllables. Sorry, 10. And the second line or middle line, I like to call it the second, it consists of 7 syllables. All right. Most haikus are inspired by a memorable experience, nature, or beauty. So right now we are actually experiencing a very memorable experience that we will never forget. This unprecedented time in our lives right now that basically really started at the end of last year, but really took off this year is the COVID-19 virus. So that's going to be our subject for our haiku poem, COVID-19 or coronavirus. This is just our theme, the theme. In order to write a good haiku, you need to clearly understand what you are writing about. We know we are writing about the COVID-19, but we don't clearly understand or know all the details and facts about this pandemic. In the process of writing the haiku, you have to ensure that you provide the strongest details that will leave the reader with images in his or her mind. After that, ensure that your haiku is well polished. Through reading it over and over again or showing it to other experienced poets. Before writing your haiku, you need to have a topic. Our topic is COVID-19 or coronavirus. Now you need to jot down any ideas, expressing what you know about this topic or subject. Expressing or describing the subject. Things such as respiratory infection, respiratory disease, 2020. You can put the world. Okay, so I want you all to write a haiku poem. Remember, it's supposed to be 17 syllables, 3 lines. You want the first line to be 5 syllables, second line 7, and the next one 5. I wrote a quick haiku poem to share with you. 2020 now. Coronavirus, why, how? Punch in the face, how? All right, my next one is a new year, times change. COVID-19, didn't see, move forward, healthy. So I'm gonna go back, 2020 now, that's 5. Coronavirus, why, how, that's 7. Punch in the face, how? Enjoy writing, have fun, just relax, and have a great day until next time. Word up, peace.